Welcome to Rugby Chat for yet another year. Welcome to Spate's ODT Rugby Chat for another year. We're going to talk about club rugby just a bit early this year. There's a lot to talk about. Doesn't start till Saturday week, the 21st it starts, which I think is unbelievably early, considering we're still playing World Cup cricket. So tonight to talk about what's going on in town, what's going on at their respective clubs. We've got two of the godfathers of rugby. We've got the godfather Jack O'Day from the Sharks. I think he might be the president there. He's done nothing there for 4 or 5 years, but he's certainly got plenty to say. And I've got the other godfather from the Eels, Mike Casey, and I think he does everything. He actually does some work, not like Jack. He actually does quite a bit of work out there. He's supposed to be working for John Leslie, but apparently John Leslie doesn't get much out of it, especially when the season starts. So welcome along, lads. But we'll just talk about, for a start, let's just talk about how your respective clubs are going, pre-season, last pre-season games this weekend, and then Prem Rugby starts. So start with you, Jack. What's happening out at the Sharks? I hear them no chance of making the top 4 this year.
No, the Sharks will be strong, I think. They'll be there, but they're going to struggle to make the top 4, right? I mean, we haven't recruited too many new players this year. We're pretty much stuck with players who have come through from the Colts side, and we've had a few, we'll have a few who won't be there. We'll miss Hugh Blake and the likes. But, so we're relying on the strength from the Colts from last year. It takes a bit of time to get those guys up to speed, and so, yeah, we're going to battle, but well, I think, you know, we'll be competitive, but that top 4 is going to be tough to make this year.
So, what do you like? What's your strength like? What's the club strength going to be like right across? What are your numbers like? Coaches, okay, you've got no good coaches, we know that. But have you got what's your strength like? I'm hearing you can run your own Colts competition this year. Is that right?
Yeah, and we've contemplated that too, Paul. To be fair, but we've decided against it. We'll stick with the Otago Rugby or the Metropolitan competition this year. Yeah, we're probably going to field 4 Colts sides, which is good. One, I think the Prem Colts will be strong again. They won the competition last year, of course, and coached by the same guys. They'll have a few back from last year, so they should be pretty strong. And then we'll have 3 Colts sides in the second division of the Colts. But the big worry for us is Prem 2s. We love our Prem 2 side. We want to get them behind and support them and make them stronger. We've lost a key coach to Taieri. They've paid him big money to go out there.
Cost a fortune. Absolute fortune.
Horny, well, in fact, it cost us money to send him out there. Actually, if the truth be known, but you know, we've now got well, Noel Jenkins is coming along to help out there, and we've got a couple of other guys in place on the management side of things, which will help out.
You won't replace Horny, but anyway, so we'll come on to you. Let's just talk about Horny for a start. So Horny's coached at every club in Dunedin twice now, and now he's deserted the Sharks.
And quite poorly, I believe. So.
And very poorly. He's a supervisor.
He's come to us with 3 demands, and they were trackside in the club rooms, which tick.
You got that done for him?
Self-service terminal in the club rooms,
have you done
tick.
that?
And a Samsung Galaxy big screen that he can watch the races on the sideline, tick.
Right.
So we met all his demands, so hopefully he'll come up with the goods. But so far we haven't seen him.
Right. Well, no, it's a bit early.
He's doing nothing.
It's a bit early for him.
And
he's a very busy man.
Good racing going on at the moment. You can't speak to him.
Now look, let's talk about the Eels. Your Prem squad will be strong.
Yeah, look, we'll be strong again. We've lost some key players, like Henry Parker's a massive loss, our hooker. We've lost Kieran Moffat, Dwayne Burrows, Kurt Schrader. We've lost a very promising player, Dunedin Flog. This is actually his jacket, Alex Fitzgerald.
I hear they paid him massive money.
We just couldn't match that price, so he's gone. He's a very promising young Lucy, but he's made the trek to the Sharks.
Could be a smart move.
We've got Mike McKee, may or may not come back from the UK. So you know we're a bit of a different side. Luckily we've got good depth, but we'll be strong, but maybe not quite as strong.
I heard the rumours, guys. In fact, they were quashed today. I was hearing rumours that Quasi was going to go up and pay up for the home club at Courier. But he talked to me today and said that's news to me. He said I'm still an Eel, always an Eel. I'll be there to beat the Sharks at the end.
Quasi's available for us when he's not with the Highlanders, and Quasi seems to think that he could be with us a bit, depending on what happens with the.
Well, he seems to be ranked number 3 now.
Yeah, he's still clearly ranked number 1 with us. So if he's available, he'll be playing.
So what about down the grades? What are you looking like?
Much the same as last year, I think. We'll just have 2 Colts sides again. We made the final last year, but well beaten by Dunedin, but we'll be strong again.
Yep.
Junior Colts will battle away, and our P2 side will be pretty good. 3 really big name coaches.
They'll start off pretty well, but I hear the coach has the ability to coach the talent out.
Within a period of weeks.
Things could fall away a little bit, but we should start off pretty good. And the seniors, they'll do their thing. They've got big numbers, so we've got 5 teams, and we're looking pretty good.
Okay. Well, let's get on to some of the topics I want to talk about today. Let's start with like a Prem Rugby jacket kicks off this week, next weekend, the 21st, and then the rest of the grades don't kick off till a month later. To me, that seems like sheer lunacy.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to me too, Paul. I mean, I just had a look at the dates that varsity started, orientation week and all that. There's still been plenty of time to run trials, have pre-season games, get Colts rugby underway before they head away at Easter. And I mean, I just can't believe it. I mean, it's hard if you get a game before Christmas with the Colts.
Don't look at the camera, Jack. Look at me because we don't want to see you on camera.
If you get the game in before Christmas with the Colts, it crystallises the teams,
right.
Stops all this stuff where players are going here, there, and everywhere,
yeah.
and
yeah.
settles things down quite a lot.
Yeah.
And that's what should have happened, I believe.
So would you agree?
Look, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. We expected the guys there on the beginning of February.
Yep.
And then the ones that arrive in town about mid-February, and they expect to be playing within a month of that sort of thing. And what it is doing is very uncertain. We've got guys, we think we've got the next thing, they're ducking around everywhere else because there is that open window for so long. Yep. Some of them are getting bored, not even turning up at training because it's so long until they play. I don't get it.
Yeah, because I keep hearing from the clubs, and you guys are part of those clubs, and so am I to a certain extent. I'm more of a consultant these days, as you know. But I just look at the fact that they said we've got to have all these rounds for Premier Rugby because we want to make money in our clubs. But if you haven't got those other teams at your clubs, how much bloody money are you going to make?
I don't mind the reason the Prem started early because I believe
I understand the 2 rounds. Yeah, I agree.
Got to be available for the finals. But the rest of them starting so late is just absolutely bloody madness in my opinion. I don't know where it came out of. I never got discussed with me.
Okay, so what about this has come up, and I'll talk about this over the next few weeks. But I'll start with you, Mike. 10 teams. Can we still justify 10 teams in this town playing Prem Rugby?
It's interesting because it sounds like there's Colts for bloody Africa. They're everywhere. So obviously we must lose a few, and I suppose a few drift back north on that. But personally, I'd like to still see 10 teams. I guess last year GI struggled a bit, but I know they've got their house in order, and they're working hard. And Pirates have been struggling with it, but they'll get there. They've got 2 Colts sides, I think. Yep. So I think there's still room for 10. I hate to see us lose any of the.
Yep. Jack, you'd agree?
Yeah, no, I think we should stick with the 10. I mean, it helps strengthen up the rugby right around town. And I mean, look at Zingaree was struggling a few years ago. They've come back nicely. I think Green Island have got their act together. I remember talking with Meads many years ago. And his theory was you'd never cut down the size of a competition. And if Colin Mead says that's it. Well,
it was only 5 years ago when we came back up, whatever it was. Pirates were, I think, in the semis, and they might have won it before that. So they're just going through a bit of it. They haven't any of us. They won probably the next couple of years.
So 2006 they might have won. Forsey was coaching.
So they'll bounce back, and so will GI and everyone else.
What are we hearing? Rumours of strength and weakness. Let's talk about the Colts competitions for a minute. We've got all these. There seems to be, to me, Jack. Is there a lot of Colts players this year? Dunedin running 4 teams. I hear that Green Island are running 2. Pirates running 2. Zingaree running 2.
I hear part of that reason might be that the university are not running that competition down there. They used to run social grade,
dropping off.
So a lot of them are.
Well, that's a good thing.
Which is good. I suppose it's good for Otago Rugby too. With their KPI of meeting more registered players, so they'll be able to relax about that a bit now.
So it's going to be a massive Colts comp.
But I think they'll be playing where they belong. In a proper structured competition.
Right, so we're going to talk about, I was going to bring this up later, but let's talk about that Colts rugby. So now we're going to have in that Premier Colts, looks like obviously definitely Otago boys are playing, and I'm hearing that Southland boys are over the line as well. There's a bit of work to do on whether Southland boys can have the odd home game. That'll be interesting how they work that out with club rugby with the clubs up here. I presume there's got to be some sort of equalisation system about money if we've got to send buses of Colts down to something like that. So look, we'll start with you, Mike, because you've had a bit to do with the Otago boys. How are Otago boys and Southland boys? How are they going to fare in this Prem Colts competition?
They certainly won't find it easy. I mean, OBs and Southland boys have been dominant in the Highlanders comp for quite a long time, but they're in for a bit of a shock in the Prem Colts grade because there's some pretty big,
they'll be 2 years older. A lot of these kids will be 2 years older.
Boys 2 years older. And they'll go okay, but they won't be dominant by any means. In fact,
I agree. I think they'll go okay, but you've got to remember they're going to be playing tough teams week in, week out. Whereas they could pick and choose previously as to who they played and rest players and things like that.
So my question,
won't be able to do that.
So my question is, remember this happened. If you go back a few years, and when Otago boys were playing in the Premier Colts competition, they ended up crying wolf and disappearing because they were getting beaten every week. We can't afford that to happen. No. I don't see that'll happen now because they're too professional a side.
with Ryan Martin, what he's done there is, he's really lifted them in that respect, isn't
Yeah.
he? And they'll be really competitive, but yeah, I guess it'll be good for them when they go to the next level in school. Like, as far as school.
Yeah, their school comp.
Yeah,
that's what they're
absolutely.
talking about.
Yeah.
So Jack, bring you back in. So what about the look? I'm very disappointed that the Highlanders school comp is gone though, because I just think that every other region's running one of these. Hurricanes run one, the Blues run one, the Crusaders run one, the Chiefs are running one. All of a sudden, the Highlanders aren't running one anymore.
Yeah, it's sad.
Well, if Otago Rugby's not running.
It's sad to see Fulton Hogan pull out of that sponsorship, but I don't think that's the only reason why it's fallen apart. Perhaps Fulton Hogan have had to pull out because they're paying their retiring CFO a bit too much.
That's one of the rumours I'm hearing.
But aside from that, it is sad to see it fall apart. But in reality, it's still a good competition, that secondary schools competition, and it's back like I'm going back a long time here when I played in the first 15 competition.
That was before
A
the
long
war.
time, yeah.
It's very similar to that now when Kings and Otago boys used to play in the Colts grade, and the rest of the schools had a very good and tough and even competition.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, so look, we'll gum off that school. So let's talk about the other clubs. What are we hearing about strengths and weaknesses? I mean, who's picked up who? Are you hearing much?
Well, I've heard Harbour are going to be incredibly strong.
Well, they need to be with the amount of money they're
They'll
spending.
become the Chelsea or the Man U of Dunedin Club Rugby, and so they're going to be really strong, hard to beat, no doubt.
I would suggest that, I'll bring you in, I'd suggest Lance Spence might know a couple of those Russian oligarchs now, does he, Jack?
Yeah, well,
Him and
look,
Abramovich are good mates.
Yeah.
I know I have a cup of coffee with an old club stalwart, John Williams, down occasionally, and he puts the flags out, and I understand he's even getting paid to do that these days. But it makes a bit of a mockery of the amateur charter that was signed many years ago, doesn't it, from what I'm hearing?
Well, we can get Andrew
Is
Rooney
the
back on
Otago
that.
Rugby Union just choosing to ignore it or actually promoting it?
Well, it's very interesting because there's lots of figures. I'm hearing $500 per Colts player. You'd get down there now.
Yeah, well, you would, wouldn't you?
You'd just go straight down there, wouldn't you?
Well, it's a few good nights in town.
Look, you'd have to, well, gentlemen, you'd have to agree with me then. Look, if they don't make the top four this year with the amount of money they've spent, you'd have to suggest that Marty Herring will get dropped next week, because he'd get dropped straight away as the coach, wouldn't he? You can't spend that much money of Lance's money, Jack, and not make the top four.
And at the end of the day, it's only a short-term thing anyway. It won't help them long-term.
Right.
Even if they do win it this year, it won't help them in the end.
Okay, and there's another one I want to talk about. I want to hopefully get Lance Spence on to rebuke some of these comments over the next couple of weeks. So he will get his chance in the
At the
sun.
end of the day, they're all rumours, I guess.
They're all sort of unproven.
And I'll say one thing: they haven't approached any of our players and offered the money. No one in our club's been approached. So.
I mean, the Sharks pay too. We put a pig on the spit for our Colts last week.
And that costs us a fortune.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do too.
Okay, so let's talk about. I want to one of my pet hates at the moment. I'm just thinking about Otago Rugby now, and what I can't understand is that with the Otago team, they start training in November for a competition that happens in August. So we have a 9-month training regime for Otago for a 10-week comp starting second week in August. So look, to me that makes no sense. I'll start with you, Mike. So where does that leave you?
Well, it just seems a hell of an overkill. I've spoken to 2 or 3 of our guys that are involved with Otago and with us.
Well, they must be shags.
It's bloody hard for them. I mean, they've all got jobs. And some, obviously, they're still training with us. They're training with them as well. It's bloody hard for them. And really, to be training so far out, I mean, is it really necessary?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't.
Did it work last year? We were second last in the second division of the NPC. So I mean, no, it didn't. So perhaps they should have a look and see where they have got it right.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps we should ask Corey.
The thing that annoys us is that players that come along told they're not allowed to train, or the physio from the Otago side will tell them they're not allowed to play on a Saturday. And this is 6 or 8 weeks out from the start of the NPC, for goodness sake.
So, look, my question: why would it?
It's too tough on
them. To me, it seems. I understand why you'd have a pre-season in sort of November, December, January, and run and monitor programs and see what they're all doing fitness-wise. Yeah. But I would have thought by say the end of February, you might say to your players, look, we're going to give you now 3 months off. And we're going to reassemble halfway through May and then start this program again. Would not be? Are we just doing it to justify people's jobs?
I think that might be a bit of it.
Fitness programs, all sorts of things. Monitor them during the course of the season. Yeah. But there's no reason they should be taking them away from club practices and not allowing them to play on Saturdays because they have a slight negative like that.
Right, boys, we'll quickly better move on. I think I'm running out of time. So just to the viewers out there, you'll now see rolling across the bottom of your screen. The ODT Spates Club Rugby Picks competition is going to start next weekend for the 21st. I think we've emailed out all the people from last year. Should have got some emails this afternoon from us. We please want you to register. So just look on that site. I think the site is odt.co.nz/Club Rugby's picks. So if you want to go onto that site to register in that comp, there'll be some ads appearing in the ODT over the next few days, and we'll have some stuff online as well. So make sure you register for that comp. Snowy from Spates has got some great prizes coming up. I think the Eels, they won everything last year. I was getting very frustrated with the Eels. They even won the picking competition, and I think they all went into Spates and had a great. And I think they took Horney with them. That may have got them over the line. They got them over the line. So boys, just before we start, I know we're running out of time, but look, just before we finish, give me your top 4 for the end of the season.
Eels, Southern, Dunedin, Harbour.
Jack?
Well, it's a matter of who finishes second, isn't it? The Eels are going to win it. Kaikra, I'll be talking to Shaver, and Muldrew. They are really talking up there, very confident this year. So Kaikra have got to be there. I think Southern and Varsity.
Right. I'll keep my powder dry to the next couple of weeks, but just remember the Club Rugby lift out on the ODT starts next Friday. I'll be doing a rundown of who finishes 1st through 10th. I imagine most people will agree with whatever I put down. So we'll talk to you again next week.